Hey fellow chefs, and welcome back to the Courthouse Kitchen. I'm Chef Matt. So I asked you guys, what did you want to see on one of our cooking videos? Most people suggested a video showing them the 5 basic knives that every chef would need in their kitchen for making great tasting food at home from scratch. So you guys spoke and I listened. So let's get straight into it. So let's start by discussing the 3 types of steel that you can choose from when selecting your knives. So the 3 types of steel that I recommend that you look out for when selecting your knives are either carbon steel, German steel, or Japanese steel. All of these are great knives with wonderful benefits, but it's up to you to keep them that way. So I just want to take a couple of seconds to talk to you guys about a couple of things to do with these knives. The first one is the carbon knife. These knives are great in their own rights, but if you cut something highly acidic like lemon, you'll find that if you don't wash it and dry it properly straight after use, the knife will go black and eventually rust. So it's just worth bearing that in mind. The second knife is a Japanese knife. These knives are sharp, seriously sharp, the sharpest knives I have ever used. But they're also brittle, which means if you guys are cutting meats and you catch a bone, it can cause the knife to crack. So just bear that in mind when selecting. So let's get started with the most important knife by far. It has to be the chef's knife. Personally, I like an 8-inch blade with a light handle, but you should take the time to try out a few different knives and see what works best for you. When it comes to holding it, just pinch the blade and glide the knife through whatever you're cutting. This is great to use for anything, hence the term general purpose knife. It will be your number 1 tool in your toolbox. You can chop, dice, you can do anything, but be sure to spend the money and find a great quality chef's knife. The next knife is a paring knife. So thinking about paring food, it's wonderful for peeling a potato or apple. For those small jobs like chopping a garlic clove, which a chef's knife can do, but it's much easier with this smaller knife. The next knife we're going to take a look at is a boning knife. It comes in 2 types, flexible or straight. Flexible is useful for taking the skin off a fish or removing the meat from the bone. Straight is used more for the latter, just removing the meat from the bone or fat from a meat. Now, onto the most recognisable knife in any kitchen, the Serrated Edge. It looks like a large steak knife. This is used for slicing bread by gently sawing into the bread instead of squashing it as you would do with any other knife. Just taking a second to give you guys a small tip. This knife has a second use, which for me is a lifesaver. It's for cutting cakes and pies, as the serrated edge means you can saw into the dessert rather than squashing the soft skin like you would with any other knife. Now for the last knife that we're looking at today. This is a slicing knife or carving knife. This is used for carving up meat, but not for the bones. This is used for cooked meat and the final cut, as we call it. It should be long enough to cut through the whole joint and very, very sharp. These are by far my 5 favourite knives, and the 5 that I would recommend that everybody needs to be able to cook their dishes from scratch. Now for the caring. Always wash your knives in soapy water, never in the dishwasher, as the chemicals in the dishwasher can cause your knife to lose its, well, for want of a better word, sharpness. So now that you guys have seen our video on the 5 knives that I recommend that every chef should have in their kitchen, I hope you guys have enjoyed it and maybe learned a thing or two. It'd be great to see you guys in another video. Any questions, leave in the comments box below. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. Happy cooking.